Hey everyone. Today's topic, body dysmorphia. I find this subject interesting because a lot of people believe body dysmorphia only really affects people who are overweight. And usually that is the case because they tend to have lower self-esteem and that sort of thing, which can be a precursor to developing body dysmorphia, which in its pure form is basically like OCD, but for the way you look, for your features, and not being confident in them, not believing they're attractive, and that sort of thing. So you're constantly looking at them in the mirror or feeling them on your body and wishing they would be different, or maybe even taking action to try to make them different by exercising, or more commonly, people will have like eating disorders along with it and that sort of thing. But there is sort of like a milder form of body dysmorphia, which I wouldn't ever say is equivalent to the real thing. So I almost wish there was a real term for it. I guess it's just like having slightly lower self-esteem regarding some of your features. I don't know. Because yeah, the real form of body dysmorphia is a pretty heavy duty, almost like psychological disorder. But people can have these very minor forms of it where they just, for whatever reason, feel that certain body parts aren't all that great looking and they could be better, and they'll think about it from time to time or maybe even look at it in the mirror, but they're not going to have that OCD side of it that is a characteristic of like the real version of body dysmorphia. But the reason I want to talk about this is because I've realized that this mild form of body dysmorphia can affect like everyone. It doesn't just affect people who are overweight. It can affect anyone, even people who are incredibly fit and even attractive looking, because everybody has been marketed to enough with all this BS marketing that can make people feel unattractive in certain ways. Like for guys, if your chest isn't big enough, or your biceps, or your shoulders, or your calves, or whatever it may be, that can make you feel like there's something wrong with you. For women, obviously, you have all those makeup companies and clothing companies marketing to women, trying to make them feel like they're not good enough as they are. So they point out flaws and other things and say that, hey, makeup or our clothing will make you look better. So no wonder a lot of women have a mild form of body dysmorphia as well. Or maybe they'll think that their boobs aren't big enough. I was trying to come up with another like more scientific term, but I don't know. I feel like you could say that on YouTube and other social media without it being an issue. But yeah, they'll feel like their boobs aren't big enough, or maybe their butt, or that sort of thing, or even their facial features, whatever it may be. And even like their arms as well. I've heard that one too. Women wanting to have like the stereotypically lean arms. So it's just interesting how a lot of people can feel this way, and it's pretty much all due to that clever marketing that makes people become insecure about themselves. Or even it can be a result of the friends you have in your life. If your friends are constantly comparing themselves to you, it can make you feel like there's certain features you have that could be better. And if you have friends like that, definitely consider getting new ones. Like that stuff isn't cool. But I mean, I'll be honest, like I even have a very mild form of it. I wouldn't ever call it body dysmorphia, but I don't know another term for it, like I was mentioning earlier in the video. But I have a mild form of it where I'll look at myself in the mirror and think like my arms are small when I know they're not exactly, but it's just like, it's something that, it's my own mind doing it. Like I know for the most part they're probably not, but when I move them away from my body and look at them, I'm like, oh geez, there's a lot of room for improvement there. But obviously when they're nested at my side, the rest of your body pushes against them and makes them look larger than they are. So I know that when they're at my side, they look fine. But when I move them away, I'm like, ugh. So I know it's not like a big deal. It's nothing I lose sleep over, but I still think that way from time to time. I'm just like, oh man, I should probably do more arm routines, because what the hell is going on here? So yes, it's something that can even affect people who are on the fitter side of things. And I've got other friends who work out, and there are always times where we're like talking about features we want to improve and that sort of thing. And it can be so interesting how even someone who's really fit and even probably already looks fine as they are will want to improve certain features that they aren't confident in, that they may even feel a bit of insecurity about. And it's just interesting. I mean, I've even seen like the memes on TikTok and other social media where you have like gym goers making jokes about like having body dysmorphia as a gym bro because you're always trying to improve, and some people will view it as that competitive way of trying to look better than other guys in the gym or their friends or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate how a lot of people have this mentality. And in my case, it's not for me comparing myself to others. It's just, well, maybe it is actually. Maybe it's like a mild form of it. But me being like a smaller dude, height wise, it's annoying at times. You have to deal with like people comparing themselves to you or comparing you to others. And it's like, if you're not super tall, there really is a sort of max limit you can hit because you just don't have the bone structure to attach more muscle to it. So you'll hit a point where you kind of just, you can't go beyond that. I'm nowhere near that, but I know that that's a thing. So guys who are taller will naturally have a higher limit because they've got a bigger frame to attach muscle to. It only makes sense. But it's just annoying when you see that and people compare each other based on like appearance alone, even though I would say the most important thing, well, it all depends on your goals, really. It all depends on your goals. If you're trying to look good, that's one thing, but some people, like myself, are trying to make strength gains. So it's kind of unfortunate when people will compare themselves to you based on pure strength, when it's like strength per pound is probably a better figure, like kind of how if you look in the animal kingdom, leopards are not the biggest out of all the large cats, but they're the strongest when it comes to strength per pound. Like if jaguars. Jaguars are the strongest per pound. So if you were to compare jaguars, or if jaguars were the size of lions, they would be the strongest big cat by far. But since they're smaller, they're not the objectively strongest, but pound for pound, they are. So yeah, it's interesting how we do this to ourselves. I think the most important thing is to not compare yourself to others and just focus on becoming better than you were yesterday. I'm focusing on if losing weight is your goal, then losing as much weight as possible. If becoming stronger is your goal, then obviously focus on that. Just focus on whatever it is for you that you've decided you want to do to make your life better. It's unhelpful to listen to that clever marketing that can make us feel insecure, and it's unhelpful to compare the way you look constantly to other people. And if you have friends who make you have that mentality, then yeah, definitely consider upgrading your friends, because whether you realize it or not, they're affecting the way that you interact, and they're affecting the way you think. So that way they can rub off on us in those ways means you really ought to be careful about who you choose to surround yourself with. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I wanted to talk about in this video. It's just interesting how we all, even like really attractive people, can have a form of insecurity about their appearance and certain body parts. It's almost like, as I was saying earlier, like a very mild form of body dysmorphia. And then of course you have people who literally do have body dysmorphia, and that like almost OCD like complex with the way they view themselves, and it can be very unfortunate. So yeah, just as much as possible, strive not to compare yourself to others, because that probably is the best way to work on this. But anyway, that's all I have for you. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. If you like content like this, be sure to subscribe for more. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like on it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci.